Okay, my name's Andy Perry. I'm Australian. I was in the 135th from December 69 to October 70. I was then a acting sub-lieutenant. I actually made full sub-lieutenant until the rank. I was a slick pilot. My call sign was EMU 13. I did various jobs within the unit. But I think my most...
Speak up.
I am speaking up. My real job in the 135th was in fact procurement officer. If they needed anything, I went out and found it for them and brought it back. So apart from driving slicks, I rode trucks with the materials. That's about it. It was a pretty exciting time. I wouldn't have missed it. I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay.
Thank you. Start, because I was wandering around the province one time with this helicopter. Actually, they gave me a brand new one and they told me not to damage it. And gave me a mission that was fairly safe. But the guys got into a bit of trouble, and usual thing when you're going home from swing ship duties, you get up on the other frequency and find out where the blokes were. And I got on the other frequency and I could hear shouting and stuff, and the boss is jumping up and down obviously because he could hear it in his voice. Everybody's going mad and yelling and screaming. People are all over the place and ships are all down. So he said, "We want you to come on down here." So I went down and I led the flight, the company, into this hot LZ a few different times. And as we lost more and more ships, we kept getting resupplied with ships from other companies, and they'd do one trip and then they'd just go off and say they don't want to have any part of that. But we had a pretty exciting time there till about 3 o'clock in the morning when we wrapped it all up and went home.
I heard about something like that.
Thank you.
Well, what other company were you flying with? I mean, was EMU flying with?
Well, I only ever flew with the 135th. No, that's not true. They used to loan people out to other companies.
Yeah, but I remember somebody said they went in with 16 ships, they came out with about 2 or 3 flying.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had a day like that.
We have days like that. Everybody has a bad day. Everybody. That was a bad day.
Oh, boy.
But we're all here.
Yeah, that's the good part. Yeah.
That's the good part.
You want me to sit there?
Come on.
Hi, I'm Walker Knight. I was in the EMUs in 1969. I'll start getting there about April time frame, left in January of 70. I was EMU 26. Today I'm probably the senior aviator here because I've got about 5,000 flying hours. Don't talk about Vietnam too much, but after I left Vietnam, went back stateside. I was an instructor for about 1.5 years, got out of the Army, was a civilian instructor at Fort Rucker for 9 years, teaching primary flight training, instrument flight training. I went back into service and retired in 1995 from the Army. Like I said, I had about 5,000 flying hours. Most of that was instructor pilot time. Had a great career as an Army officer after I left Vietnam. Had a great civilian career for a while. Now I'm working for the school system. Don Miller probably told all his stories over there, and I can't remember any of the other ones.
You can make him up probably.
He probably, I don't know. We used to think that Don Miller was a character over there. He was the only person who could make you enjoy going to breakfast. We ended up getting up about 4:30 in the morning. You go, track over to the operations. You're half asleep. You have your black jacket on, your chicken plate. You have a helmet bag in one arm and a PRC 77 radio in the other, going out to the flight line. You're half asleep, pre-flight in the aircraft. You run up, shut it down, you go eat breakfast, and you sit there like this. And then Don Miller comes in telling all these hilarious stories every day. And I don't think he can be lying because he's still telling them today.
Well, you didn't have to. There's enough funny stories anyway.
Oh yeah, there were some good ones. Does anyone even mention some of the dinners and parties we had over there? I can remember one day the gunship flew over, one of the gun teams flew over the field and must have shot up 3 to 5 deer. And I've never seen deer this large. They must have been large like elk.
Yeah.
So they put the rear legs on this 20-ton forklift we had.
Oh, the big deer,
Well,
okay.
and they had the forklift all the way up. These deer nose were touching the ground. We had a barbecue with beans, potatoes, barbecue, and all the beer free. It was good parties, good days.
They called those stags. Got them up in the hills though, didn't they?
Well, they shot these right along the berm there in Bearcat. And there's huge deer out there. I didn't even know deer existed over there. I thought the only thing they had was water buffaloes and Viet Cong over there.
Tigers and elephants too.
That's all I got today. Thank you.
And I told you to be careful with it, you brought it back in pieces. You did say.
I should have told him that time. I remember it really well.
You just want him to talk a little bit about who I am?
Yeah.
I'm Tom Stott. I'm a retired colonel right now, and spent 1969, from January 22, 69 to January 70 in the Republic of Vietnam with the 135th EMUs. Started out, I believe, in the 1st platoon, and loved flying with the Australians and the Americans. Had a good time, got shot down quite a few times early on, and so they decided early on in my career I'd be better off flying a desk because it was a lot cheaper to replace desks than it was aircraft. So they made me the admin officer, and during that time I tried to grow a mustache and became affectionately known as Lieutenant Fuzz. And now I don't have any fuzz, as you can tell, so they can't even call me that anymore. Some of my most memorable times, getting shot down twice in the same day, losing my main rotor, just about lost the main rotor blade at 3,000 feet, flying with a guy named Bill Merkley. My friend Tony here wrote a story about that called the Circle Red X, and I'm living proof that really happened. And thanks to Bill Merkley's flying skills and my little help once we got on the ground to get out of there, we were lucky to come out alive because they caught the VC coming in that night trying to take us. So my fondest memory is the 135th and working together with the Royal Australian Navy in a unit that was quite unique. There never has been a unit like that, and I don't think in the military there ever will be again. And it's the greatest bunch of people that ever flew helicopters, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So thanks, Tony, for doing this.
Yeah. Hello, fellow emus and taipans. My name's John Leake. I was a taipan in 67, 68 up at Camp Black Horse, which they could have called Camp Red Horse. It was either bloody red dust or red mud. My most living memory of the camp, and we had some fantastic times in the old House of Lords, as we call it, which was the building made for our senior officers' quarters, housed our ops centre. It was a cross, built in the form of a cross from stolen US Navy 7-ply, marine-ply wood. Cost us about 6 cases of good old good old American steak. And we had the fourth arm was the bar. And Jesus, did we see a lot of that? Apart from the combat aspects, the most memorable time was the social time at the bar playing AC/DC or Liar's Dice or poker, which I wasn't very good. Met some wonderful guys up there, and it's my mission here while I'm in America to try and track down all these guys, shake their hands and have some fun. And I didn't last the whole mission. We had the most memorable bloody praying in living history, and we survived and got us home about 3 months earlier than the other guys. But I'd like to thank the association and my compatriots here for this memorable week, for a fantastic time and welcome. And if you can get to Australia in 2000, we're going to outdo you like we always did, and you're going to have a ball. Good luck to you guys. Thanks for putting up with this bloody bullshit story I've just put across.
My name is Duncan Stewart. I was the Spec 4 in the 135th. I was a 68 Echo prop and rotor repairman. My most memorable experience was working side by side with an Australian named Nick Aves. That's it.
Hi, I'm Tom Rudock. Is this going to be able to hear from this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Tom Rudock. I'm one of the original EMUs from Fort Hood, and then spent a year at Black Horse, EMU 28. I had 2 tours in Nam, one with the EMUs and the other one with the 229, first camp. I'm currently living at Fort Rucker, Alabama, retired after 26 years with the Army, retiring as a W-4. Had a good time, meeting a lot of good people here.
I'm Mark Knuckles, originally from Atlanta, Georgia. Moved after I came back from service to Hickory, North Carolina. I was a warrant officer pilot there in 1969, arriving in the country December of 68, 4 days before Christmas. Flew slicks for about 6 months. Had a knack for maintenance. Went into the maintenance last 6 months, and got a maintenance MOS after that. Most memorable experience is probably the one that I'm lucky to be here. I was doing an engine check one night to get a slick ready for the next morning, and pulling into power, I went IFR in the clouds in the left seat. So, grace of God, I got back down safely, and I'm still here. I'm having a great time. This is my first meeting, and I'm looking forward to seeing as many guys as I can.
Tell about your relationship with Merkley and some of the other guys.
Oh gosh, with being in maintenance, we watched of course we had the ships that came in that got shot up so often, and I think I flew some with Merkley, and of course we had the opportunity to see all the choppers after they'd taken the hits and everything. I had my closest experience was one where we took 17 rounds, but none of us were hit on board. And I was there while my cousin, the other Bob Johnson, there were 2 Bob Johnsons that served in 135th, and one was my cousin, and while I was there, we told him that he was coming over, and he came in the unit, and we served together in the same unit part-time.
Very good.
Very good. Can you turn that off now?
Paul Petrie, April 68, April 69, Black Horse, Bearcat, avionics detachment, blue door gunner. That's about it.
You were ground support, avionics.
Avionics, yeah, and we had so many guys in the shop that we had to get out of there, and I hated it anyway, so I volunteered for door gunner, and I flew whenever I could.
Oh, well, that's what on there, usually on there too.
Well done on that.
Yeah. You did any story?
Nope.
No.
Just glad I'm here.
Yeah.
It's my first reunion, and I'm glad I'm here.
You survived.
Yeah.
That's the way it ought to be.
My body's getting older, but my brain is still in the 60s.
That's good.
Name's Mike Hickman, Spec 5. EMU from May 67, May 68 to May 69. Avionics, ground support. Flew a little bit, not enough to brag about. Glad to be here and miss those who are not here.
Mom and Dad and Denny saw the passing out parade, pack up on ya. It's a long march from cadets. The 6th Battalion was the next to turn, it was me who drew the cards. We did Canungra, Shoalwater before we left. The towns will line the footpaths as we march down to the King. This clipping from the paper shows us young and strong and keen. There's me with my slouch hat, with my SLR and greens. God help me, I was only 19. Fun town riding chin-ups to the dust at New Dat. I've been in and out of choppers now for months. And we made our tents a hum, baby, with pin-ups on the lockers and an Asian orange sunset through the scrub. And can you tell me, doctor, why I still can't get to sleep? Night time's just a jungle dark with the barking M16. What's this flash that comes and goes? Can you tell me what it means? God help me, I was only 19. Operation when each step could mean your last one on 2 feet. It was a war within yourself, but you wouldn't let your mates down till they had you dusted off. So you closed your eyes and you thought about something else. Then someone yelled out contact as a bloke behind you swore. We were booked in there for hours with the God Almighty roar. And then Frankie kicked to mind the day that mankind kicked the moon. God help me, he was going home in June. I can still see Frankie drinking tinnies in the Grand Hotel, 36-hour wreck leaving Bungtown. I can still see Frankie lying screaming in the jungle till the morphine came and killed the bloody round. And the Anzac legends did mention mud and blood and tears, and the stories that my father told never seemed quite real. I caught some pieces in the back, didn't even feel. God help me, I was only 19. And can you tell me, doctor, why I still can't sleep at night? Why the Channel 7 chopper chills me to my feet? And what's this rash that comes and goes? Can you tell me what it means? God help me, I was only 19.
The message to go home, I'll just leave you this one. There once was a jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree, and he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You come a waltzing Matilda with me, a waltzing Matilda, Matilda, my darling. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. Down came a jumbuck to drink at the Billabong. Up got the swaggy and grabbed him with glee. And he sang as he stowed that jumbuck in his tucker bag. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. Oh, waltzing Matilda, Matilda, my darling. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he stowed that jumbuck in his tucker bag. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. Down came the swatter, mounted on his thoroughbred. Up came the troopers, 1, 2, 3. Oh, as the jolly jumbuck you've got in your tucker bag. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. Oh, waltzing Matilda, Matilda, my darling. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. Oh, as the jolly jumbuck you've got in your tucker bag. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. I've got the swaggy and jumped into the Billabong. You'll never catch me alive, said he. And his ghost may be heard as you pass by that Billabong. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. A waltzing Matilda, Matilda, my darling. You come a waltzing Matilda with me. And his ghost may be heard as you pass by that Billabong. Good night and thanks a lot once again for coming along.